What would you think if I told you that a man can be crushed by childhood, by violence, by the judgment of himself and still rise? Not just physically, but with a spirit roaring like fire from the ashes. David Goggins was not born with an iron will. That will was forged in the shadows where children cry unheard, where a father's screams bury dreams, and where old wounds bleed silently for a lifetime. In a small room where a trembling black boy sat between jazz music and punches, Goggins did not dream of becoming a hero. He only wanted to survive. But from there, from that cold emptiness of twisted love, an archetype of a warrior began to awaken. Most people, if trapped in such a childhood, would carry the mask of victimhood for life. But Goggins did not choose to be a victim, not immediately. Not consciously. At first, he only ran from his father, from uselessness, from his own reflection. Then one day, when darkness had almost swallowed him whole, he had nowhere left to run. That was when he turned back, faced it head-on. In Jungian psychology, there is the concept of the shadow, the dark parts we hide, repress, and deny. But those brave enough to look into their shadow, to befriend it, can transform darkness into power. Goggins is the embodiment of this. He did not deny his anger, his pain, his self-hatred. He looked straight at them and challenged. Throw everything you've got at me. Not everyone can endure such naked darkness. But if you are brave enough, you will see that inside lies not only fear, but a flame. Not a destructive fire, but one that refines. It does not burn your soul, it burns the false self. And after it has consumed everything, what remains is an indestructible being, one who has died in pain and been reborn in discipline. Goggins did not just run hundreds of miles, nor just survive elite military training. He conquered himself, the weak, the fearful, the approval seeker within. In a world full of cheap applause and surface validation, he chose a lonely path where the only applause comes from the pounding of his own heart that refuses to surrender. You might ask, what makes a man endure so much pain? It's not because he doesn't feel pain. It's because he transforms it into fuel. He learned an essential truth: humans do not need comfort to move forward. The only thing you need is a reason big enough to never stop. And that reason does not come from outside. It comes from within, from the cracks in the soul, from the silent voice every night that asks, "Is this all you will ever be?" That repeated question, like a curse, became a call. Not a call for fame, but a call to become a real man, one who can face fear, stand tall before failure, and never let the past define the future. Asterisk. But how can a man stand up when every cell in his body wants to give up? The answer lies not in strength, but in endurance. An endurance that does not yield, but awakens. In Stoic philosophy, Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you that causes suffering, but your judgment about what happens." David Goggins did not see adversity as punishment. He saw it as a test, a purgatory of the soul. Every rejection, every mockery, every night haunted by his father's voice in his head, he did not run away. He stepped right into it. Because he knew the only way out of pain is through it. But that path is not for everyone. It is cold, lonely, with no light, except the one you kindle within. And precisely because of that, it is the path for those who truly want to escape the mire of themselves, not for applause, but because they cannot live another day in their old skin. There is a stage in psychological development called individuation, the process of separating from others' expectations, labels, and definitions to find one's true self. Goggins, in the bitter silence of physical and spiritual pain, entered this process alone, with no guide. He turned his body into a temple. Every workout was not to flex muscles, but to forge spirit. Every drop of sweat was a vow, never to return to the old self. When you begin this journey, the world fights back. Not because you are wrong, but because you betray the role it assigned you. They will call you excessive, obsessed, dangerous to yourself. But they do not understand, some people, if they do not push themselves to the limit, will die in silence. Some souls, if they do not try, will perish without ever knowing who they really are. Goggins understood that ego always craves comfort. It likes to be comforted, to play the victim so it doesn't have to try. But a real man dares to face that ego and say, "You no longer control me." He does not destroy ego. He strips it bare, exposes it to the light of consciousness, and surpasses it. Every day, every hour, every step. You might think all this is extraordinary. But the truth is, it is deeply human. Behind the muscular body, behind ultramarathons, was a child who once felt worthless. What made him extraordinary was not superpowers, but the determination never to surrender to feeling unworthy. And that profound truth is a lesson for us all. No matter how many times you fall, how much criticism, failure, or hurt you endure, you still have one chance left. One chance to stand up one final time. No need for witnesses. No need for applause. Just you and the silent complicity of the universe, affirming that today, perhaps more than ever, people fear the truth about themselves. They fear facing the deep shadows of their soul, where old wounds still smolder, where the self-reproach echoes like a haunting melody. Yet precisely in that shadow, the place no one wants to look, lies a door to true freedom. David Goggins did not shy away from that door. He stepped through it with a power not from muscle, but from a soul forged in relentless battle. In this journey of individuation, ego projection plays a vital role. Each time we feel hurt, misunderstood, or fail, our unconscious reacts by blaming others or circumstances. This is projection, where the ego seeks protection by pushing blame outside. Goggins saw through this. He realized the brutal truth lies within, not outside. When he dared to look straight into the face of fear, to embrace pain without resentment, real power began to form. That courage is not an explosive outburst, but a silent process, like an underground stream flowing deep beneath the earth. It is persistence in the quietest moments, when no one watches, when no one applauds. Goggins sought no external validation. He created an inner world where he is master of himself, where pain becomes material to build, not destroy. Stoic philosophy teaches that we cannot control what happens outside, but we fully control how we respond. Goggins applied this strictly. Instead of blaming life, he turned adversity into lessons. Every ache in his body from grueling runs, every exhaustion begging to quit, he reminded himself that suffering is the path to freedom. Being pushed to the limit, seemingly about to collapse, is a milestone awakening the depths within. In those moments when all masks are stripped, the real man is born. Not one who never falls, but one who knows how to rise stronger, more resilient. One final time standing up, not for others, but for himself. You might wonder how to keep that flame alive when loneliness, abandonment, and harsh words still haunt your mind. The answer lies in accepting the darkness, not to be swallowed by it, but to understand and harmonize with it. In Jungian psychology, this is the path to reconciling with the shadow, so you are no longer slave to repressed emotions. Then, the shadow ceases to be enemy, it becomes companion, guiding you to wholeness. David Goggins is not just a story of physical endurance. He is a living symbol of the soul's endless struggle between light and shadow. He reminds each of US that no easy path leads to true freedom. But within pain and self-confrontation, we find liberation. This is an invitation to you, who reads, to bravely look at yourself, accept your imperfections, and rise one last time with every ounce of strength you can summon. In today's chaotic world, where self-worth is often measured by external approval, Goggins is living proof of the power of breaking free from those chains. He needs no crowd's recognition to know his value, because he found freedom in standing up after every fall, one final time, not to prove to anyone, but to prove to himself. People often think that strength means never falling, but the deeper truth is, strength lies in knowing how to rise after every fall. David Goggins teaches us that no matter how thick the darkness is, no matter how deep the pain, just one final stand-up is enough to conquer ourselves. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it and keep moving forward. Remember, in every fall you are given a chance to become stronger, to shine from deep within. If this story touches your soul, don't forget to follow and subscribe to the channel to receive more inspiring stories that help you unlock your inner power and overcome every challenge in life. Let's stand up together, one last time, because you deserve it. Let every time you hit like and subscribe be a commitment to yourself, a promise not to give up, a small but meaningful step on the journey to becoming your strongest self. The content on this channel isn't just stories. It's a source of living energy, a flame that lights you up in moments of fatigue and doubt. Don't hesitate to subscribe, because each subscription helps the channel spread strength and inspiration to thousands who need a helping hand. And if you find this video valuable, please give it a like to spread positive energy and help build a community that never quits. Remember, standing up one last time isn't just anyone's story, it's all of ours. Thank you for being with us, and let's move forward together.